welcome back to From the Source podcast, season 2, episode 5. I'll start off by saying, like I always say, thank you very much for everyone who's been listening to the podcast so far. Anyone who's been liking, subscribing, anyone who's engaged with the recent content on the TikTok. We've had about a week of, probably by the time this post comes out, probably about a week of posting on there. So starting off small, had a few likes and stuff on the videos, trying out new bits of content. So trying to just still be natural and normal, but keep putting that bit of content out. Obviously we get quite a lot of interest and people liking the content on Instagram. Had quite a few people joining the Strava Run Club as well for the podcast, which is good. So I'm going to maybe ask Craig from St. Virgo quite nicely, who's probably going to be listening to this episode, if we can do something with the Run Club and stuff, but we'll sort that out and get that sorted. So kind of today's episode is, people have been asking me for like a nutrition fueling type one, but I'm going to do a specific one about that in a few episodes time. But this one's kind of slightly generic on kind of how to stay fit and healthy. I've had quite a few people who are quite new to running or fitness message me recently, so hopefully this resonates with them, and it'll help them along the journey. So bit of a talking point today is, keeping these episodes as brief as possible, and as informative as you possibly can do with them. So kind of why setting realistic fitness goals will matter, building a balanced workout routine, briefly nutrition and fueling for your training, how to make yourself mentally strong and motivated to carry on, and then kind of making the fitness that you do loosely part of like your long-term lifestyle. So that's not like taking over your life completely, but just subtly being aware of it. So why, I'd like to know in the comments, or people message the Instagram or on the YouTube, but why do you think setting realistic fitness goals matters to you? Basically, I've got 4 brief points to this, but setting realistic goals will allow you to set clear goals as well. And I think people get caught up in socials and stuff when it's like I've pretty much never done any running or any form of fitness before, and I think the one of the main things is that there's quite a lot of people you see on socials that have been doing sport or fitness in general since they were kids. So they've got that cardio base in them somewhere, be it swimming or running or cycling or whatever it is. So they're already quite fit when they come into it and decide to do marathons. So people often judge them off socials and like, oh, I want to be able to do that as well, or I can do that. I must be able to do that because they can. So you have to kind of look into the history of it, but set clear goals that will keep you focused and motivated. I know each week I bang on about Runner, which is great for beginners. Just sets a plan, off you go. And like Strava in a way is your journal, because that'll keep you focused. You'll be able to get motivated from other people that you see. Also keep you focused because there's like an activities progress section on Strava. I can't remember what they call it, but that keeps me focused anyway, because I'm like, right, I've done 40k this week. It's meant to be 60. What else have I got to do? Oh yeah, it's 20k on Sunday. Brilliant. So set them clear goals, but make them realistic. So if you've never ran before, I don't want to say for everyone, but for 90% of people, it's an unrealistic goal to be like, right, in 4 or 5 weeks, I'm going to run a marathon. Now, yes, I'll probably correct myself there. Yes, you probably could run a marathon. Like, i.e., you could start it and you could finish it. But my God, would you be in pain and hate your life by the end of it, because you've not had a proper plan behind you. You've never really done it before, and you've just rocked up. So kind of most people, this is a bit of a corporate thing, but people know what it is. So like setting SMART goals. So specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. That takes me back to my first career job. But set your goals based on them. So specific is the distance. Measurable is in terms of like, that isn't measurable as in like the distance, but measurable as in terms of like how you're gonna like not journal it, but like write it down, how you're gonna hold yourself accountable to it. Achievable literally is doing a marathon in 8 weeks achievable. Only you can answer that really, how much pain you want to do. Relevant is doing the marathon relevant to life or what you'd be doing at the minute? And if it isn't, that's going to be something if you're not going to be able to do that with work or life, then you're going to struggle. And then time bound is your 8, 10, 12, 14 week plan, whatever you want to do. So setting them goals will help you from burning out, because people then get in that mind frame of like, if I want to do a marathon, I need to run every single week, every single day of every single week. And that's not how it works, because you will burn out. Your body will get sore. You'll probably get shin splints. You'll get blisters. If you've got new shoes or new running vests and stuff like that, they'll all start irritating you. Your body will just start breaking down. So having that plan, stick to the 4 days, next 4 weeks, it changes to 5 days or whatever the plan does. And I think that's where having like runner and stuff is going to be great for new people. It's just so easy to follow. And that kind of falls into like the consistency. So consistency is a big one. It's pretty obvious if you show up all the time and you're training pretty much close to the times or the distances that the plan's saying, you'll pretty much get close to your goal. If you're not consistent with it and you're putting the odd one off here and there, when you look back on that plan, putting one off every week and not doing it builds up. Putting 2 off, you slowly start to put more sessions off than you actually do. So don't be surprised if you rock up on your race day and you don't do very well, because you've kind of cancelled all your workouts. So just set the goals. It's easier said than done for me to sit here, but set your goals. Have 8 or 10 or 12 weeks just strict with yourself. And it'll be tough at the start, but it gets better. It gets easier until you do the next one and you want to go quicker. But consistently showing up, the results will happen. It's pretty simple. And that kind of falls into building like a balanced workout routine. So it's probably easier for me to talk about a marathon because it's kind of all I'm doing at the minute is just running. But the balanced workout is I'm not just running. I'm not really going to the gym, but that doesn't mean I'm not doing any, training other than running. So I'm doing like air squats, press ups, dips, body weight stuff basically that's keeping like everything ticking over. Mobility, so like you're stretching or, on your rest days, you're just having a walk and a little bit of a loosen up and stuff. So that kind of falls into like your recovery and stuff. So that's all about like literally keeping everything balanced. If you're just running all the time and you want to be good at running, great. You will continue to be good at running. However, you need to be training like even your joints and stuff, because your joints are going to take a pounding. So that's where that like balance comes into it. Obviously, if you're doing Hyrox, if you're doing a lot of running to get better at Hyrox, you need to be doing like, your functional training, your specific Hyrox workouts for that. I feel like I've slowly or quite rapidly pulled away from like the Hyrox world, but I still watch it and stuff. But yeah, I have to add those specific things in as well. But even when I was training for Hyrox, I wouldn't train. If I wanted to get better at burpees, I wouldn't train burpees. I would break the movement down into, there's the pop up from the burpees, which is basically a press up. So I'd practice being explosive on the press ups, quick with your legs through, etc. So I broke everything down like that. I didn't just do the burpees. Building that balance workout is your rest days. So essential rest days. Recover. So that's, a Lumi ice bath out in the back. That's stretching, that's theragunning, that's going to like someone for a massage. Just, even just going to a pool and just like walking through the pool. It just helps the body recover, and it stops you from getting bored with just running, because you will hit that wall with the running, where sometimes what happens with me is I get sick of the same routes. I know that, where the 10K markers are, you just know everywhere to go. Me personally, I struggle. I can't just run out 4K and turn around and run 4K back. I have to do it on the opposite side of the road, or even on the road, next to it, because I know what's coming. So add that variety in, even just like drive 10 minutes up the road and just run 10K further around there. Just change it up, helps with the boredom. And it just overall gives you that balanced routine workout. If you're just running, your ankles and your knees aren't just getting hammered. You maybe going to the pool and just loosening up, and, hip mobility and your shoulders are getting a workout and stuff. So it all helps. And it definitely will all help along that 12, 14 week plan that people are going to be doing. Because 3.5 months is pretty boring, just running 4 or 5 times a week. So make sure, you're changing it up, and make sure you're fueling right. Now, I know I said I'd do an episode on this specifically, but briefly, about fueling for your training. So the next episode, I'll break down macros more, but you need to be having a balanced meal. And if you're doing running or focusing just on running, need to be more carby based, or them good fats. So you've got carbs, proteins and fats. It breaks down into a lot more than that and stuff, but need to be carbing right at the right times. Need to be just generally eating at the right times, not 10 minutes before and it's just all meat that's going to your blood flow is just going to sap all that, trying to digest it, and you'll have a crap run. So yeah, I'll break it down more in another episode. But hydration, that's, make sure you're getting your water, because you're going to sweat loads, but also that's making sure your electrolytes. So I could do another episode on this as well, but there's different brands of electrolytes that have different levels of sodium, potassium, magnesium. And it's really easy to think, I'll just pick the ones with the highest numbers because they must be better for you, which, if you're really, really sweaty, obviously you're getting rid of a lot of your electrolytes. So you'll need the higher doses of electrolytes, but sometimes it doesn't react well with some people. So you've got to try it out and stuff. But water, electrolytes, at least an electrolyte a day, really, just kind of tick your body over. Especially if you're doing like those tempos or those fast intervals and stuff, you're going to be sweating a lot and working hard. So hydration's key. Eating something small before a pre-workout. So, my go-to is a bagel, honey, some chopped bananas on it, and then I sprinkle some like rock salt on it, nice and warm, like a little sandwich. Amazing. But I wouldn't wolf that down before an interval session. So I'd have like maybe a banana and stuff before, but if I was doing a long run on a Sunday, bagel, cut it into halves, then just nibble on it on the way around. It's just so good. And then make sure you're refueling after. So that's you getting your carbs and your protein back in, your water, flooding all your body with all that good stuff. and then you can go out on the piss afterwards, on the booze. But some people who do a big workout immediately just go out on the piss, and the body just isn't recovering. First thing you eat is like, crappy takeaway pizza at 1 a.m. And no wonder you wake up in the morning, your body's killing you. So get all the good stuff in, then treat yourself afterwards. And then if you are going to be the marathon runner, then you need to be making sure you're eating enough to recover. I don't think I'm going to put it in the nutrition one that I'm going to do properly about the specific numbers, but you can pretty much Google any of this to find out, how many calories you should be eating based on the exercise that you're doing. It's pretty self-explanatory. Now, a big one, which I struggle with, and probably a lot of other people do as well. Some people like to admit it more than others, and some like to keep it shut off, but about being mentally strong and motivated. So every workout, try your best to be positive about every single workout. And like always, I can only speak for myself. There's some workouts where I'm not positive about the workout. Not actually whilst I'm doing it, but leading up to it, all day. I've said to myself, it's a hard workout, do it in the morning, get out of the way, wake up in the morning. I think, well, no, I'll do it later on. Lunchtime comes, I've got meetings or I need to have my dinner or whatever. Doesn't happen. And then it gets to the end of the day and I think, right, last chance. And I go and I do it and I think, why did I wait so long to do the workout? But you've had that little devil thing on your shoulder, and it took me all day to try and flip that mindset to do it. Want to do the workout, feels great, regret holding out for so long. But be positive about the workouts and be understanding with yourself, because sometimes they're going to be crap workouts. Your body's going to be, more sore than you think. And you'll rock up and you'll be like, why can't I get any power out? Or why can't I get quicker? Or why has everything hurt? But that's just part of it. And that's the thing you'll look back at when you do your marathon and complete, and you think, oh, those hard sessions where you need to run hard and you don't feel like you're running hard, but you look at your watch and you actually are, those are the sessions that matter. I tell you, there'll always be those sessions that are the ones that you need to turn up to. The ones that you don't want to do, those are the ones you need to turn up to and do. And if you need your mates to come down with you, or, at a run club or whatever it is, make sure you turn up to them, because honestly, when I look back on it, I think that was the session that made me this little bit quicker this time, or whatever it is. I put down about, using tools like, journaling and stuff to overcome that negative talk. When I probably refer to journaling for anyone who's going to listen to next episodes, but it's mainly around Strava. That's kind of what I use in my running journal. And it helps me, or kicks me up the arse to go out, because I look at other people going out and I'm like, I've got to go out now. Because they've gone out, I'm going out. And plug for the run club on Strava. If you join it, I've realised that there's a leaderboard on there for the week. So you'll be able to see where you are on the leaderboard. And if you're anything like me, I'm not finishing last. So if I'm bottom and there's 30k left, that's what I need to get off the bottom. I'm running 30k. I'm not finishing bottom. But I'm hoping with the podcast and stuff, we can add in some cool little giveaways or stuff with like St. Virgo, or, even just give away some electrolytes or something, just to help people get motivated. So I think sometimes that's what people need. They just need a little bit of help along the way. So, if I can dangle the carrot of a free electrolyte and it gets people out running more and sharing it with their friends and stuff, then, job's a winner. Accountability, which it's got to keep you motivated. So that's finding a mate who wants to come out and run 20k with you. That if you got a mate that wants to come out and run 20k with you, they're a proper mate. Joining a community, a run club and stuff, that'll help. So as we all know, there's park runs every Saturday. There's probably going to be run clubs around your area. They'll help you. And using a watch, it's a smart watch. Maybe do an episode on this, but Coros, which I use, Garmin, which I've used, Apple Watch. I'm not really a fan of Apple Watch, doesn't really do a lot. There's other watches, like I think Amazon have brought out their own watch now and stuff. So plenty of technology to keep you motivated with that. And maybe a big one, for me sometimes when I'm running is I have to kind of remember I'm not like some elite athlete, and to a point each time I go out I have to want to like enjoy this and not see it as like a full-time job, because if it starts to really piss you off, you'll find any excuse in the future to not go out. So just treat it more like a hobby and like a nice habit to have rather than like a full-time job. And, I've got 4 training sessions to do this week, and on these certain days, and if I don't do them, the world's going to blow up. I've always been like, if you've got 4 to do, just make sure you do the 4 in the week. But also understand that if you're doing 4 on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because you couldn't be arsed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the next week starts, and if it's on a Monday, that's a 5-day week, not a 4, and your body's not had a lot to recover, so you need to factor that in as well, otherwise you just end up just chasing your tail. So if you can, stick to the days, because that's what you've worked out around work or life or whatever, but don't be too harsh on yourself. Kind of leaning into the make fitness a long-term lifestyle goal. So enjoy the process, enjoy the plan, enjoy the nice views or the nice people you'll meet along the way. Make it fun, because that'll last. Your running journey, your running life will last longer. You won't just spend every day like fighting with yourself. Rest, recover, sleep. Probably most people know by now, 7 to 9 hours of sleep is the sweet spot. Obviously, if you've got kids and stuff, good luck trying to do that. Rest and recover. So rest for me, I would say, rest is not like a sit on the sofa on a Sunday with your feet up, eating shite, just watching telly all day. It's maybe do that as well, but go out for a leisurely walk, get a coffee, get out. I'll always get out even if it's raining. But that's like a rest day. It's an active rest day. Recovery, so that's your stretching, your theragunning, foam rolling, bit of a ball ache, but theragunning. Massage, try and get a lot of massage maybe every 2-3 weeks. Just keeps you loose. But sleep's a big one, and it's something I've recently tried to prioritise a bit more. So I'm starting to read again before bed, which is knocking me to sleep, and I just feel like more recovered and like not as worn out in the morning. Been a good one actually. So I can't remember the book I'm reading now. I think it's what's she called? Mel Robbins. I can't remember the book. But yeah, I'm going to try and read books at night now. Try and get myself off my phone and stuff, because I used to like look at editing videos and stuff, and it was just keeping my brain active, which was affecting me the day after. Yeah, so making fitness your long-term that lifestyle goal. It's kind of, if you started off just, you're starting off your fitness journey now and it just happens to be running, it doesn't mean it'll always be running. You might end up, your fitness might end up moving you into like paddle or I don't know, squash or anything active, but you build that fitness level, that fitness foundation, and be flexible with your life and your fitness journey. So life gets in the way, routines change, you do things on a weekend or you go on holiday and stuff, but it's about being flexible with yourself. And like I said, maybe you can't train on the days that you want to train, but you got to flick them around, or it's a double day. Don't be too harsh on yourself. You're not an Olympic athlete, but you're just someone who's now decided that you want to be a runner, or you want to be a bit fitter, or you want to get a good body for Ibiza or whatever it is. But you've got to be flexible with yourself, but also stick to that plan, stick to that routine, because that's the only way you're gonna really hit those targets. And obviously, last episode I kind of started with these like quotes to finish the episode off. And I just got a little one that's: health and fitness are a journey, not a destination. And that's probably the same for everything in life, really. Everyone's always desperate to get to the end goal, and then when they get there, it's like, wasn't really as good as what I thought, and they've kind of forgotten about like all them hard training sessions, all them people that are supporting them, and they've kind of just got to the goal, and it's just kind of an anticlimax. Tyson Fury is a good example of that. When he was obviously heavyweight champion of the world, he managed to get it, and then he was like, didn't even want this, and then obviously he fell off the bandwagon and life changed for him. But enjoy it. I'm probably nowhere near meeting all the people I'm going to meet on this like fitness journey, this marathon journey and stuff. And that's kind of the exciting bit about it. I'm not looking to like, the marathon race. It's more, the training sessions, the tough sessions, the people you meet, the Strava Run Club that I make now. It's got, I think, 15, 16 members. We could all meet up, or it grows and stuff like that. That's the exciting bit. That's the thing you want to kind of get behind and enjoy, not just, right, got a marathon next year, just got to focus on that, because I can't do that. I like to live my life as well. So, talking about some of those things I've spoken about, I'd be interested to know how many people do this challenge, which, if you've got to this far in the video or the episode, thank you very much. If you listen to the full episode, amazing. I'm be interested in how many people don't get this far and the reasons why. But if you are here, I'm going to ask you to challenge yourself. So make one small change this week when this episode comes out on Monday. So make one small change for a week. Maybe sleep more, go to bed early, add stretching and mobility into your workout. Plan your meals, maybe. Just do a week of planning your meals, counting, MyFitnessPal, counting your calories. Or do a plan of running. So if you're running's your thing at the minute, do a solid week of just planning your week with your runs in. So if you do manage to do that after watching this episode on the Monday, in a week's time afterwards, share it with us. Let us know on Instagram. Obviously Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, it's all linked into this episode. If you listen to it on Spotify, there's a link in the description of the video. So please share your progress. Anyone who wants to kind of go that step further, join the Strava Run Club that we've got. That automatically puts you on a leaderboard. And like I said at the start, hopefully get some giveaways going and some meetups and stuff. And we can help everyone get to whatever your fitness goal is. So thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, comment on the videos. Follow the TikTok if you want. There's going to be like some funnier videos on there. Follow the Instagram. Please comment on the YouTube. If there's anything else that I've missed, you've probably heard it on other episodes as well. So yeah, thank you very much for the support, and I'll see you on the next one.